Okay, here's a question for you. What do prisons, cemeteries, and parking lots all have in common?
Sounds like the setup for a bad joke.
Right, but it's actually not. It's a lead-in to some surprisingly profitable investments, the kind that often just, fly under the radar.
Exactly. We're not talking about flashy tech stocks today.
No, forget the usual tips. We're doing a deep dive into these, well, let's call them overlooked areas. The mission is to sort of pull out the key financial insights. Why are these potentially lucrative?
And it's worth noting, some of these topics, like prisons, can be pretty controversial.
Definitely. We should be clear up front. We're looking at the financial mechanics based on the source material, not making endorsements here.
Absolutely. Just understanding the why behind the investment angle.
Okay, so let's start with private prisons then. What's the financial engine that people might miss? It's not just the obvious stuff, right?
Well, yeah, beyond the, bars and cells image, the sheer logistics are huge. Think about uniforms, food
Right,
service.
the scale of it.
Exactly. Standardized meals, clothing, day in, day out. That creates a massive, reliable market for suppliers.
Hmm. And I guess contracts play a big role.
A huge role. You've got these long-term government contracts. They provide a really remarkably stable revenue stream. Doesn't matter so much the economy is up or down.
Okay, so predictability.
That's a big part of it. It's about following where that consistent cash flow is, maybe not the daily headlines.
Got it. So stable revenue, government backing. That makes sense from a purely financial viewpoint. Okay, let's shift gears. Cemeteries.
Yeah, the next one definitely carries a grim association.
For sure, most people aren't thinking investment opportunity there.
But the core idea is guaranteed demand. It sounds blunt, but everyone dies. The need for designated resting places, it persists.
Okay, so demand is constant. What about the supply side?
That's key, especially in growing cities or, established areas. Land is finite. So you get
Mhm.
this classic supply and demand pressure, limited space, often an aging population nearby.
Right, basic economics playing out in a perhaps unexpected place.
And the ongoing costs, the maintenance,
Yeah.
often surprisingly low compared to other real estate.
So, kind of like real estate with a very, very long-term tenant, in a way. I even read something about people flipping burial plots. Is that really a thing?
Oh, yeah. It actually is. In certain markets, in, older cemeteries, desirable locations that are filling up,
Hmm.
the resale value of those plots can jump quite a bit. It just highlights how finite that specific type of real estate is.
Wow. Okay. Flipping plots. Didn't see that coming. All right, let's move to the third one. Parking lots.
Parking lots. Yeah.
They're just there everywhere, but I've never really thought of them as a serious investment. What's the angle?
Well, their beauty is kind of in their simplicity and necessity, especially in cities.
Right. Yeah, always
Parker downtown.
exactly. And the overhead. It's minimal. Often it's just the land itself, maybe some basic paving, line painting, upkeep. No employees usually, no inventory.
Very low running costs.
Yeah.
Very low. But in areas with high traffic, limited street parking, maybe near venues or offices, they can generate really consistent income.
Makes sense.
And now you've even got tech helping out, these parking apps.
Yeah.
They let people rent out, even their own driveway sometimes.
The Airbnb of pavement? I like that.
Sort of,
Yeah.
yeah. It just taps into that need for convenience, especially where building new parking is difficult or expensive.
So it's about capitalizing on that basic need where space is tight, passive income potential.
Precisely. It's income from a fundamental requirement of getting around in many places today.
Okay, so if we look at all three prisons, cemeteries, parking lots, is there a common thread here for this kind of unconventional investing?
I think the main theme is finding sectors where the demand is just really resilient, sometimes unavoidable, you could say.
Like monetizing inevitability, as the source sort of put it. Death, commutes.
Yeah, that's a good way to phrase it. These areas often aren't tied quite so tightly to the big economic booms and busts you see elsewhere.
Right, they're less cyclical, maybe.
Less cyclical, more stable. It's about recognizing and finding a way to invest in those fundamental, maybe unglamorous aspects of society.
It really does make you rethink where, wealth generation might come from. That stability seems like a huge, maybe underrated advantage in finance.
Absolutely. It's definitely a reminder to look beyond the current hype or the exciting new thing. Sometimes value lies in the enduring the underlying needs.
So perhaps the key isn't always chasing the next big trend. Maybe it's more about understanding and investing in things that, well, for better or worse, are likely always going to be part of the picture.
Things like parking spaces, final resting places.
And yeah, even the infrastructure supporting complex systems, it
Yeah.
definitely gives you something different to consider when looking at investments.